guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are sitting down and I am talking about the 10 eyeshadow palettes I would keep if sadly I could only keep 10. Would I ever want to only be able to keep 10 in my collection? No, definitely not. But if I absolutely had to, these would be the ones that I would choose to keep. Before we get started, don't forget I upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday for you guys. If you like this video while you're watching it, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. It really does help my channel out. And other than that, if you're excited and you want to hear about the 10 eyeshadow palettes I would keep if I can only keep 10, then let's go ahead and get started. So I have actually done this video before. This is kind of like an updated version of it, but I did it like almost a year ago now. I'm gonna have a link down below for you in case you want to check it out, because I'm sure a lot of you guys were not here back then when I uploaded this video. It was one of the first videos I uploaded. So if you do decide to scroll down and check it out, please watch it with an open mind. Watch it with the knowledge that you know it's one of my first videos, and I feel like I have grown and gotten more comfortable and better at YouTube since then. Also, I probably took this a little bit too seriously. I probably really was just thinking hard about what palettes I would really want to keep and then why, because I wanted to make sure that if these were really the only 10 palettes I could keep, I had a very well-rounded collection. I had enough color, enough neutrals, enough shimmers, all the shades and colors that I would want in my collection. So did I take this too seriously? Yes, probably. Also, I don't have any of these eyeshadow palettes on today. I really did not think that through. I actually have on the new Colourpop She's a Natural Quad. I was testing it out for the first time today. I don't love it, but that's not what we're here to talk about. I will have all of my makeup that I have on my face linked down below for you to check out in case you're curious, and also all 10 of these palettes again if you're curious and you want to check them out. They are affiliate links if you shop through them. Thank you. Okay. Let's actually get started now. The first one I want to talk about is literally just, you guys are going to be like, yeah, Emily, duh, we knew this was coming. Colourpop That's Taupe. I had to include this palette, and you guys, you all saw it. You all knew it was coming, right? I mean, I'm sure you did. This is just one of my favorite palettes ever. I just love that it is nice and cool tone. I have recently figured out about myself, I prefer cool tones on me, just in general, cool tone eyeshadows and cool tone lips. I could not give this palette up. If I could only keep 10, I had to keep this one. I had to. And actually, at first I had this one and the Natasha Denona Glam palette in this set of 10. I took the Glam palette out, you guys. If I could only choose between this one and the Glam, because they're very similar, I would choose this one, which is saying something. Like, what? I love the Glam palette, but if I absolutely had to choose, I would choose this one. I just love this palette so much. It's neutral, it's cool tone. Every time I use it, I love my eyeshadow looks, and I could not give this up. You would have to pry this from my hands. That is how much I love it. And since I have my more cool tone neutral shades, I wanted to make sure I had some warm tone neutral shades. Even though I prefer cool tones, I would still like the option to have warm eyeshadows. And for that, I chose my Jason Wu. This is his Matte Agave palette. So this is all matte. Another reason I wanted to choose this is because it's all matte. That way I can have this to, combined with any other palettes I have in this collection, with the shimmers in those palettes. Plus also, sometimes I just like an all matte look. Today I have on an all matte look. Sometimes I'm just in the mood for an all matte look, and this would give it to me. I really do love the formula of this eyeshadow palette. The colors are really beautiful. I do wish it was a little more gradient. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's a little heavy in the light shades, and there's not very many deep dark shades, but every time I use this palette, I'm impressed with it. I like the quality. I like my looks. And again, I just needed some warm tones in this collection. The third palette I want to talk about today is one that I would want to keep for sentimental reasons, and also it's a bomb palette, but it's a Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette. Mike surprised me and bought this for me. He has literally only done that one time in our 4.5-year relationship, and it was this palette. He's never done it before this, hasn't done it since. Maybe one day he will again, but he surprised me and this showed up on our doorstep last year, and it is just one of my favorite palettes. It truly is absolutely stunning. So not only is the quality amazing, the color story is beautiful. Every time I do my makeup with this palette, I just love it. I have a 1 week 1 palette with it. I can link in the eye and down below for you, so you can see 5 looks that I made with it. But it just has a lot of tones that I would really want in my collection. A lot of neutrally but like rosy berry tones. It's got these beautiful gold shades down here that I wouldn't want to give up. These blues in case I want to do something fun, a little pop of color. This purpley pink shade and this purpley pink shade are just stunning. I know Huda Beauty's palettes are pretty pricey, but me personally, at least the couple that I have tried, I feel like her quality is justified by the price point, if that makes any sense. And I would definitely be keeping this baby. Alrighty, the fourth palette I wanted to talk to you guys about is the Natasha Denona Love Palette. Did you think that I wasn't going to have a pink palette? If you know me and you watch my videos, you know that I'm obsessed with pink eyeshadow. I love it so, so much. It just puts me in a good mood. I just love pink eyeshadow and I love this palette. So I would want to keep it for sure. I think the quality is there. I think the shades are stunning and beautiful. Anytime I would want to gravitate towards a more pink eye look, this would definitely do it for me. I do have a couple pops of purple if I want them, a couple deeper shades right here in this black and silver, and this just would give me a lot of options. Again, I have a 1 week 1 palette on this. Again, I can link it in the eye and down below for you in case you missed it, so you can see 5 looks with this palette as well. But I just feel like the quality is so amazing, and like I said, anytime I would want a pink eye look, I would be able to achieve whatever pink eye look I would want with this palette, if that makes any sense. So I definitely 1,000,000% would not want to give this baby up. Since the Love palette is more of those like rosy, deep, mauve-y, burgundy sort of shades, I would also want to keep the M Cosmetics Divine Skies eyeshadow in the shade Magic Hour. So this is just a little bit more of like a peachy kind of eyeshadow shades, if that makes any sense. So my Love palette gives me a whole bunch of pinks. This still gives me pinks, which I love, but it just gives me a little bit like deeper, a little bit more peachy pinks. I know I keep saying like the quality on these eyeshadows, but like legitimately they're so good and that's why I would want to keep them. But M Cosmetics, their eyeshadow formula is chef's kiss. It is so stinking good. These are like the butteriest mattes I have ever used in my life. And these shimmers are intense without being like too intense. And they're just stunning on the eyes and they last all day long. They don't like fade, they don't come off, they don't like crease, bunch up, nothing weird. I love this palette. And like I said, I think it would be a good companion palette and it would make up for the couple of pink shades that the Love palette may lack. So my next couple of palettes have a little bit of color to them because I really genuinely love a colorful eyeshadow. I feel a little bit more comfortable in like more neutrally pink shadow tones, but every once in a while I do love to just go out of my comfort zone, wear bright, colorful eye looks. So these next 2 palettes definitely suffice for that. The first one is the Sydney Grace and Mel Thompson's collab palette in Tiny Marvels. This is a great palette because it has a lot of those more nudie tones that I would possibly want, but it still has those couple of pops of colors that I would also want. In this purple and the green, this gold, these couple of like peachy pink tones, this like green shade up here. This palette is just beautiful. I feel like it's a palette that, I don't know, is a little underrated almost. Like it's a beautiful palette and I feel like people talk very nicely about it like in reviews and videos and stuff, but I feel like in my collection it's underrated. Like every time that I reach for this, I am wowed by it. And every time I'm like, why don't I use this palette literally every single solitary day of my life? It's because I have a million palettes. That's why I don't use it every day. But it is just stunning. And again, it has those neutral shades that I would want with those pops of colors that if I'm feeling in the mood, I could reach into this for those. The next palette is another colorful one, and it's actually one that I've only gotten a chance to use once. So it's pretty gutsy, I feel like, for me to put this in the top 10 palettes that I would keep out of all my palettes. However, it's just stunning. And the one time I used it, I had a great experience. So it is the BH Cosmetics Lost in Los Angeles palette. I have other BH Cosmetics palettes, so I know that I love their eyeshadow formula. So that's another reason why I feel comfortable putting this in, only using it one time. Because even though I've only used this specific palette one time, my other palettes from them I've used a million times and I love them. This is a beautiful, colorful story. The shades in here are just like bright and bold, and some of them are more pastel, which I love pastel shades. BH Cosmetics shimmers are stunning. Their formula is just amazing. It's really great. I have a palette bingo on this and I made a pretty interesting eye look with it, not going to lie. It definitely got me out of my comfort zone. Again, I have it linked in the eye and down below in case you missed it. You can check out the look I made, the palette bingo. But This just has shades that I know I would want in my collection. I know if I was feeling a little extra that day, a little like out of my comfort zone, a little wanting a colorful, bright eyeshadow look, this palette would 1,000,000% give it to me. And again, BH has a great formula, especially for the price. Their 16-pan palettes like this already retail for like $16 or $17. And most of the time they are on sale. I'm pretty sure I picked this one up on sale for like $8. The next palette is a palette that would just make sure all of my fall tone vibes were taken care of. Anytime I would want a nice fall-y sort of look, this palette would do it for me. And it is the Juvia's Place, the Nomad palette. First of all, I just think the packaging is so cute and just stunning, but the shades inside are just as beautiful. This is such a fall-y toned eyeshadow lover's dream. And another reason I wanted to keep this palette over the rest is it's got these mustardy yellow shades. I have to have a good mustard yellow in my eyeshadow collection. I just have to. I love mustard yellow eyeshadow, especially on me and my fair skin tone. I just think it's very flattering. And this one is just, this palette, I feel like I don't reach for it very much, but if I only had 10, I would definitely reach for it more. But again, anytime I want like a fall toned eye look, I would be able to reach into this. And these two shimmers are just beautiful. I love this palette. Alrighty, I'm gonna end it strong with two Natasha Denona mini palettes because these two are just amazing and I would need to keep them. And the first one is the mini gold palette. Almost dropped you there. The first one is the mini gold palette. So I love pink eyeshadow. I love neutral eyeshadow. But I also really, really love green eyeshadow. And this really is a tiny palette, I understand, but I feel like anytime I would want a green eyeshadow look, this would suffice. I know it's small and it only has these 5 shades, but these 3 right here, and then even this like transition shade, this is such a good cohesive green eye look. And I really can switch it up and get a couple different green eye looks out of this palette, if that makes sense, that it would be enough green in my collection to only keep this one. But I love green eyeshadow. I think it's beautiful, again, on my skin tone because I'm so fair. And this palette, the shades are stunning. Obviously, it's Natasha Denona. The quality is amazing. I did not want to give this up. I had to put it in here. And my 10th and final eyeshadow palette that I could not live without, the Mini Retro. Come on. This is another one I feel like you guys saw coming. I feel like every time I talk about eyeshadows, my favorite eyeshadows I would want to keep, anything involving eyeshadows, I always bring up this palette because I'm just in love with it. I just love it. This was the last one I included in my 10. I was like down to 9 and I was like, okay, I feel good about those. What's the 10th one I would want to keep? And I just would not want to get rid of this palette. I think it is stunning. The quality, again, like the other Natasha Denona palettes I brought up in this video, is just so good. The mattes are beautiful. I love this Galaxia like topper shade, the pinks, just everything about this palette is stunning. I don't like the Mini Retro. Well, I don't understand. The Mini Retro is nothing like this Mini Retro. I don't understand. I am waiting on reviews. I've seen good reviews about it, but I'm waiting on more reviews and I actually want to see it in person before I decide to possibly pick that up. But the Mini Retro, I could not live without. And that was it, you guys. That was the 10 eyeshadow palettes that I would keep if I could only keep 10. I feel like I have a good, well-rounded collection with a lot of different neutral tones, colorful palettes if I want them, pinks, greens, all the shades that I love to wear. I feel like I have a good collection here with these 10 eyeshadow palettes. I wouldn't want to get rid of the rest of my eyeshadow palettes, but if I had to, I feel like I would be happy with these 10. Let me know down below, what are a couple of your eyeshadow palettes that you just like would not want to give up, that you love with your entire heart? I always love hearing from you guys down below in the comment section. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. You're awesome. I love you. Please subscribe if you have not yet, and hope to see you in my next video. Bye, guys.